Welcome back to the Enterprise Center, everybody. Harry Schrader. That's Luke Martin, the voice of the Southern Illinois Salukis. Watch, I'm going to make this really popular. Look, Luke Martin.
But it's on
it
you
says
right
it right
now.
there.
Yeah, I know.
I know. I can't move it to the right side. It's live from the Enterprise Center. Can you tell? We just finished watching the two terrific semifinals here at Arch Madness. Indiana State gets 94. Got 94 last year in the semifinal, in the quarterfinal, 94 this year in the semifinal. They'll play tomorrow against Drake, who just fought through a very tough game against Bradley. Luke, thanks for joining us. Let's drop back and talk a little bit about semifinal Saturday.
Yeah.
Pretty special.
Oh, it is. I mean, this is, I think, I heard you talk about earlier. I mean, this is honestly just one of the best days of the year. And it's really the best day in the year in the Valley.
Yeah.
It's really special when your team is in it. Fortunately, I've been able to call one semifinal Saturday game a year ago, which was a really good game between Bradley and Indiana State. But, man, when you're just in here and you feel the energy, the lights go off, you see all the lights just go around, all the LED lights in here. It's really special environment. What makes it really more special, Harry, is when you see these games all year and how good this league is.
Yeah.
And we've been so fortunate, guys like you that follow the league on a daily basis and me calling it for two different schools within the league. You just realize that this league just continues to get better despite a changing director, a huge landscape that continues to change by the hour, it seems like.
Absolutely true. Semifinals today, unbelievable performance, offensive performance by Indiana State. And they play good defense too, but the 94 points dwarfs everything else. Is there anything else we can say about the Sycamores that maybe 400 people haven't already said?
Well, no, because everybody's talking about them, which is great. And it's so well deserved. Coach Schertz is a first-class man. His wife, Natalia, what they've done in Terre Haute, that story has been amazing. But it's more so what I don't think Coach Schertz, and maybe this is the one thing, Harry, that to answer your question, that he gets a lot of credit for, is he's obviously a tremendous X's and O's coach. Everybody knows that. He's obviously a really good evaluator of talent.
Absolutely.
That's been very clear.
Yeah.
But he's a really good evaluation of character and finding the right guys in the locker room, but also just finding guys who, just standing by the tunnel today, you just see so many kids that know these guys by name and they interact with them. They sign every autograph. And that's not just for show. From Julian Larry, who I've known for a long, long time, to Jason Kemp, seeing him as a competitor at another school, to them working with him. Of course, Robbie and the phenom that he has turned into. They're better people. And I think that's what look, no one probably recognizes you unless you win as much as they have.
Sure.
That's no question why. But it is, and it's why I still really am very supportive of them, because it's who they are as individuals that make it really special. And to see them have the success they have has been really fun.
Luke Martin's the voice of the Southern Illinois Salukis, and Salukis go out yesterday. That's emotional. You used to work at Indiana State. They're winning. That's emotional. The Southern Illinois coach gets fired. Brian Mullins gets fired yesterday. Today, it's all a blur to me now.
Yeah.
That's emotional. We get emotional about sports and about the people we work with because it matters and they're real people. Just talk about all of that emotion flooding through Luke Martin right now.
No, it is. It has been an emotional 24 or 48 hours for a lot of reasons. And to your point too, Harry, is what I hope, and I think fans do. I think fans understand it and get it, but man, it's the families of the coaches. It's their kids that you get to see. It really was. I had so much fun this year getting to know Coach Mullins and walking into his office, and whether it be his youngest Keegan or Kaysen, they have bumper cars in the office and they roam around. You just hear their laughs, you hear their giggles. It just makes it a family environment. And but Coach understands the business. I know we'll get into it here in a moment, but it's part of it. But yeah, the emotions for me, it's been a very emotional week. It's been an emotional couple days. There are a lot more good days in our business. There are way more good days that bring you smiles. But there are also always some tough days. And there's no question that yesterday, Friday, was a tough day for all of us, because I think everyone knows when you walk into Banterra, which you did earlier this year, when you called a game, you look at the rafters and you know the expectation.
Yeah.
And you know the standard. And Brian and Coach Mullins knew that. Everybody knows the standard. Just everybody wanted to reach that standard for him because of the type of person that he is. And I don't think there would be as much hurt in Saluki Nation right now if it wasn't for the type of guy that Coach Mullins is, and will continue to be.
Yeah.
He'll be fine because he's a tremendous person. Number one, he's an outstanding coach who will no question get another shot at it and continue his career, and his staff with his brother Brendan, Javon, Jarence. I mean, all those guys were just outstanding to work with this year, and great guys.
I sent him a text yesterday or last night, I guess, and then he texted me back today. He doesn't owe me a text. In the midst of a difficult time, I just wanted him to know I was supportive. That's it. I never expected him to reply because why would he? I'm not important in that situation, but he did.
Yeah.
And said complimentary things back to me as well. And yeah, those kind of people, there's a lot of them, but there's not a lot of them. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You did a podcast, and because I've been here covering this tournament, I didn't get an opportunity to listen. You met with the athletic director after the announcement, and we just said it was emotional. It could be emotional. You could have been, you're an employee, but you could have been a little whatever. So take us into that conversation with the athletic director, some of the reasonings, thought processes that went into all of it.
Yeah, and I was very appreciative that Tim gave me the time this morning. And I think it's fair to say this too. We talk so much about, and we have, and Coach Mullins is a tremendous. Tim Leonard is a great man. And I've really enjoyed getting to know Tim. And when you transition within the league, it's not always easy to go from one school to another. Tim has trusted me from day one, and he trusts me too in our interviews that we get into, which we had today, and it was about a 22-minute conversation. And Tim was very authentic and went through his decision-making process. And this was something throughout the year.
Hold on. Good for you.
Yeah.
And good for him.
Yeah.
Seriously, like that could have been a, you know what, listen, there's a lot of tension. We don't need to talk about it right now. Luke, don't bother me. You could have been, gosh, he's the boss.
Yeah.
And I just got to play the company line.
Yeah.
So good for you and good for him. Seriously, that tells me a ton as well.
No, and we talked, man, at the start, everyone knows. When you're, in mid-major college athletics, when you go throughout the halls, you get to know your staff members so well. And everybody, it didn't matter if it was Coach Blaylock and Coach Sewell with softball, or Coach Rhodes with baseball, Coach Hill with football. Everybody knew who Coach Mullins was because he was a guy that would walk around to each office. They would come to his office, and it's a really family environment. So when you go through that, there's that piece to it too. And there's also a piece where I was getting to, it's hard on Tim, and it's not an easy decision. But as we alluded to, everybody knows what the standard is in Carbondale. And I've been learning that over the last year, knowing the history. I've always known the history being within the Valley, but they want to be in the top four in the league. They want to have a chance to win championships. And one of the areas that Tim mentioned to me today, and they're all factual, is just there weren't enough wins against the upper echelon of the league. And that was really the biggest point. And look, this tournament can be very fickle.
Sure.
And we've talked about that on a lot of different platforms. And whether it's fair or not to say that's the ultimate judge of some of our coaches who are so good people, and not to backtrack, but think how different, those 2,000 runs could have been for Southern if this wasn't a multiple bid league like it was. And now it's one bid, or we hope not. And we'll get into that. I know too. This league is deserving. Bradley, I know who lost tonight. That would not be a fun team for anybody to see on any weekend in the NCAA tournament. They are more than qualified on what Coach Wardle and them have done. But to my point is, and to what Tim's point is they want to see Southern Illinois have success in the Arch Madness tournament. And unfortunately for Coach Mullins, Coach Hinson, he tried his best, but Southern hasn't won at least 2 games in St. Louis since they made the Arch Madness final in 2007. And that's a long time.
It is a long time.
And Coach Mullins, he's there's been a lot of change too. I do think it's fair to bring up the point that, in Coach Mullins' 5 years, he's had 4 different athletic directors, and that's hard. But you have to adapt, you have to adjust. And I know no question moving forward that that's exactly what Southern will do. And it's exactly whoever Tim will go after and look through this search. But I have nothing but the utmost confidence that they're going to find the right person. And that's what Tim said. I thought Tim put it perfectly to end our podcast today, when I talked to him this morning, was he said, Luke, coaches get judged in Arch Madness, and well, you win championships, and guess what? ADs get judged on coaching decisions.
Sure.
And he knows that full well. I just think everybody knows just the emotional piece. Just I hope everybody knows that it's emotional for everybody involved, and I think everybody does know that.
It's true confession. So I put out a tweet last night or yesterday after they put out their press release, and I said, "Here's what they said. He was a great guy, overcame adversity, graduated kids, ran a clean program. Academically, they were great, and we fired him." It felt a little disingenuous, right? I mean, just in all candor, it's like, I mean, but listening to you, I think, he's trying to say we really like this guy, and we're bummed we're giving him the short haircut.
Absolutely, and I think there's multiple ways to look at. Coach Mullins, not that he's owed anything more, but he's a Hall of Famer at your school. And I mean, everybody knows what he did as a player, and he did a lot of good things as a coach, just not to the standard of what has been set in Carbondale. And he knows that because he was a player on those teams, and he knows that more than anybody. But there are also more challenges. I mean, Tim and I, we talked about it today. I mean, there's the challenges of NIL. There's the challenges of also scheduling. Southern scheduled this year in terms of KenPom, it was around 350 in terms of non-conference strength of schedule, which is one of the worst in the country. But you have to have money also to have buy games, to bring good teams in, to have a chance to have those games at home or put together a challenging schedule. And those are areas where it doesn't just happen. That there has to be communication both sides from the athletic department with the coach, with the university. Everybody's got to be in the same boat in those areas. And look, we talk about the ever-changing landscape in college athletics, and you can just search how important NIL and collectives are, whether you like it or not. That's the day and age that we're in, and that's going to have to be a part of this moving forward for SIU or for any of the schools in our league, for that matter, to have success, because it's hard to get lightning in a bottle, and for what to backtrack to what Coach Schertz has done, it's not like he just got lightning in a bottle. It was a lot of hard work. And it takes a very special guy to be able to do that. And of course, he had so much success prior to getting that job. But I think all of those things, Harry, add into it, and it will be an interesting couple of weeks for sure. And the most important thing is getting it right.
Yeah.
And that was kind of one of the areas we ended on to today when I was talking with Tim Leonard. Was I'm not so much concerned about timeline. I'm concerned about making sure we get the right person for the job.
Well, you even think about Coach Schertz getting the job at Indiana State. His first year was not good.
No.
And I don't know if he got it late or got it on time or whatever, but that first year typically isn't very easy. So getting the right guy is really important.
Yeah, and I mean, you look throughout the league. I mean, obviously, Coach Powell Valpo, I think he's going to be the right guy. It takes time. Coach Pina, Illinois State, he's had a lot of success. He's going to be a really good coach. We saw flashes this year for Illinois State where they got the potential to be really good.
At there in Evansville as well.
Evansville. I mean, Coach Ragland's done an outstanding job. So it's, even though that first year may be rough, you have no idea with the portal and you have no idea with how things go, how it's all going to evolve. But with that, it changes the landscape where typically, I mean, as Coach Wardle would know, I mean, when he was having to build his program through freshmen and play, and they take 2-3 years.
5 wins the first year for Brian Wardle.
It's hard to really to get your mind to think in that way that's how the sport was, but it's totally changed. It's totally transformed.
Radically different. I want to shift gears now. Indiana State. We're Valley guys, and so we think they deserve to be in the NCAA tournament, whether win or lose tomorrow. The net was 29 coming into the game today. It's a quad 3 win that they had today, but they won big, so maybe that helps them. I don't understand the math or the metrics or any of that.
We all try.
Yeah. But they and Drake tomorrow will play one another, and the winner will win a quad 1 game tomorrow. Drake was 46, I think, this morning. They will improve today. It was a quad 3 win for them today. Quad 2 win today for them. And so they'll maybe nudge up, and they've got a quad 1 game tomorrow. And so both of them, their metrics are going to move forward. Let's say that they both make it, and that would be awesome. Either way, Coach Schertz, we talked about him earlier, tough first year, 23 wins a year ago, come within a rebound of making to the semifinals last year, do get to the semifinals this year and win another in the finals tomorrow, with a chance for the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament and a really legitimate chance to be an at-large team if they don't win. I want to take you to a story you told me the other night. One of the things, I know people think I'm kind of Pollyanna. You just think, Harry, you think everybody's great. I don't. But when I meet great people, I love to brag on him. And so, I've been super impressed with Josh Schertz and all that he's done, the way he treats people. But I want you to tell us the story. Luke was the play-by-play guy for Indiana State a year ago, if you don't know that. Now with Southern Illinois. Still close with Coach Schertz. And talk about the interaction you guys had just the other night.
Yeah, so coming into St. Louis, I was talking to his wife, Nat, and Coach Schertz, and we wanted to at least try to connect before the tournament, just to see each other, catch up and all. And there were a couple items I actually needed to get from Nat from Terre Haute. And after our banquet on Wednesday, went over to the team hotel, got to catch up with them. And there was actually an added surprise to my meeting with both of them. And they give me this bag, I open it up, and there's a championship shirt for the Valley on it, Indiana State championship shirt. And I was like, I thought that was the gift. I mean, it really means a lot for you guys to get that to me. And they said, well, actually open the shirt. So I opened the shirt, and there's a piece of the championship net that they cut down after they beat Murray State on the championship day to end the regular season. And as I've told everybody, and, it's why obviously, wearing blue and supporting them this weekend, now that, the school that I get to work with on a daily basis is out of the tournament. I truly have loved Indiana State, and I have nothing but love for Coach Schertz and his wife, Natalia, and that program, because they are tremendous people. And that's just a small story. I'm sure they have done that for many, many others that have been a part of the program that helped build it. And the fact that they would even think that I even played that somewhat of a role makes you feel really special.
Spectacular. Love those kind of things and love those kind of stories. I could tell you a number of stories. Not that cool. I mean, because Luke's cool. I'm not, but I know
I am not. I promise.
I know tons of great stories like that about different coaches and players in this league. And I always say it this way: the little bit that I'm involved in the Missouri Valley Conference, I can't tell you the times that coaches, players, etc., go out of their way to talk to me, to show appreciation, whatever. There's a whole culture around this league of the people around us matter.
Yes. I mean, what I really enjoy two areas for us on Saluki Radio, what we try to do is we've had Duke Dean on our pregame. We've had Titan Anderson. We try to really promote the league and not just promote our own guys. And look, I mean, Xavier Johnson and Trent Brown and those guys, and we pub them up as much as we can too, which that's what we do. But it's hard to find, whether it's Tucker. I mean, hearing him talk the other night in his speech after winning the Larry Bird Player of the Year.
And the first thing he said was, well, congratulations to Indiana State.
And that's not that's a genuine response.
Yeah.
And it's probably because he's a coach's kid and how first class Darren is. But that's what I love about the league is, look, when we get in this thing and you're one of the 12 teams that want to win it, you want to beat everybody. And at times you want to make the opponent you're going up against somebody that you just don't like.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's easier to get into the battle and want it to go your way. But there's a lot of good people in this league, and not just good coaches, but athletes who are just even better people. And when you get a chance to talk to a Duke Dean, when you get a chance to talk to Tucker briefly, whomever it is, you realize wow, not only do we have good players that are really talented, but they're how can you not like them? It's you're calling these games, you want your team to win so bad, and you do, trust me. And there's been times this year where you're just so frustrated when you couldn't get it done. You're like, but gosh, they're just so nice, and that's who they are. And I think that's what makes the Valley really special. I know this league is like that. I've had the fortune to be in other leagues, and it just doesn't feel that way. This league does, and that's why it's really special. And I'm really glad to be on my second stop in this league.
I should let you have dinner. Listen, thanks for joining us today on Voices of the Valley post game after the semifinal day tomorrow, Championship Sunday, 1:00, big CBS. Kevin Harlan bringing the game. When you bring the big guys in, and these two spectacular teams, Drake and Indiana State, tomorrow for all the marbles and the chance to go to the NCAA tournament, it should be special.
It's going to be really special. And obviously I wore Robbie's shirt today. I told Julian Larry, who we've had so many years with in Terrell, I got his shirt for tomorrow. So I was packing his shirt. I mean, obviously, for the Saluki fans watching, I wish I was wearing my maroon blazer tomorrow, and it was going to be the Salukis and the Sycamores in the final. But looking forward to tomorrow, it's going to be a great game. I mean, Harry, those are two teams that are so deserving to be playing past next weekend. And
Absolutely.
I really hope, regardless of how it goes, even if Indiana State gets the automatic bid, I really hope Drake gets in there too. I don't think there's any question that both those teams are NCAA tournament teams.
Good enough, and we'd like to see him play there. Appreciate you joining us on the live stream today. I'm Harry Schrader. Thanks for joining us. This is Voices of the Valley, part of ValleyHoopsInsider.com. Remember, since you've been there, make it a better place. We'll see you again. Real good.